Hello, hello, everyone. How are we doing? How is everyone this fine day? It is the obligatory me double checking that the the video volume and audio is good for you guys. How's it sounding? Obviously I'm getting, well, hopefully my new mic is on its way. It's gotten a little delayed, as post often is for Easter Sunday, but just do want the music louder, quieter, all that jazz. How are you? How are we all doing? Slightly louder on the music? Sounds fine, says one. I will split the diff and go ever so slightly louder. Nice of you to join us, Thomas Channel. I'll see you soon. Okay, people say it's good in their opinion. We will keep it as it is. Perfect. How's everyone keeping? Anyone up to anything fun? Finn Jonas K says, good evening from Germany. This stream looks way better than studying for my exam. Well, studying is still really important. Don't let me distract you. If you want to use me for... Sorry, I'm just adjusting my headphones. If you want to use me for background noise though, obviously go right ahead. Just getting myself comfy. I'm just going to test out my brush opacity. I got this new brush, well, not new, but new for me, called Palette Knife. And I am in love with it. It's so fun to use. That should be ref, and that should be... I mislabeled a couple of my layers, bear with me. There we go. It's just got this really nice pressure sensitivity to it that I'm really digging. I did like this warm-up sketch with it, and I just really like the feel of it. So I'm going to be using that a little bit today and kind of getting like a feel for it. Yeah, it just feels really good. It's got, I'm not usually keen on ones with pressure sensitivity, but it's been really decent on this one. Obviously that's not a great drawing, but you get the gist. Let me have a little look at the chat. Someone says, I've been writing my own magic system lately. That's great to hear. Keep it up. Oh shoot, I accidentally just opened up Vortex on my PC. If it chugs ever so slightly, that's why. I came from a festival where I promoted a reenactment. That's really cool. Nice. You guys are up to way more interesting stuff than me. Go away, Vortex. I don't need mods right now. Let me just close that. There we go. It's right next to my OBS on my menu at the bottom, which maybe isn't the best idea. But that's how it is. Hey, that Rob Human. How's it going? And Cat Lover. Welcome, welcome. I was just saying I've got this new brush and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm gonna try and do some stuff with it today. I'm just gonna do like a little warm-up sketch while people come on in. I want to maybe kind of emulate some of these really cool references I have here. Maybe do like a germinating one or something. I'm just getting ideas for like pods and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna do a little warm-up sketch while people come on in. Oh, I really like this new brush a lot. It's really neat. I'm a big fan. will tell you guys a little bit more about what specifically we're doing. Some of you might already remember from the last stream or be able to guess, but for those that can't, I'll fill you in. Bear with me. Just doing a little warm-up. I kind of like the idea of when it germinates, it looks like a bug. I think that could be really funny. Because these almost do, but this really does. And I think that could be really fun. Maybe, we will see. We will see. This is why it's good to warm up sketch. You get a feel for your brushes. Sometimes you want to launch straight in, but if you do, you might make some boo-boos, you might make some errors. Something like that. That's kind of cool. Right, you can join the others. Get in the pile. There you go. Into the idea pile. Alright, let me have a little look at the chat and I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing. I accidentally designed a magic system that I eventually realized has several very similar components to Simon's. This happened a lot. I mean, there's only so many ways that you can spin something, right? It's, like with Golden Bone, obviously I don't want people going out and copying me because that's silly, you shouldn't copy people, but if someone accidentally comes up with something similar, fine, and I guarantee there are people before me who've come up with stuff like that. Obviously if it feels too much like a one-to-one copy, then it's good to be mindful of that, but it's not the end of the world if there's similarities. It's one of the things that I think is a real shame about the kind of Harry Potter thing about classes and houses and all of that. That is just very, I promise this is relevant, it's very emblematic of a lot of old British school systems. We still have schools nowadays, loads of schools have houses and you earn points for your house and all of that. That's still very common. Wearing robes as a prefect isn't something people do a whole lot of nowadays, but I've definitely seen schools that do. And yet if you were to bring that into a setting, everyone would say, oh, you're just copying Harry Potter. And it's like, no, I've just drawn from the same references as Harry Potter's author. It's a shame that the author of Harry Potter has been lost to time. Just kind of redoing some of these sections a little bit, just so they're a little bit more, you know, fleshed out. Excited for that agriculture, says Conspiracy Cooker. Me too. And hey Esther, that's really good to hear. I'm glad that you're, you know, just having a go at it, for sure. I mean, honestly, it's, I've got so many ideas at the minute for other systems or worlds that just wouldn't work in Golden Bone. I might have to do like a mini series where I just randomly bash out like a world concept in a video and that's it, or like I have one stream or a week to design something. That could be kind of fun. It would be a nice option to have if I like hit a wall with Golden Bone. It's like I need to take a break from this, but I still want to be creative. Then it would be a kind of like a fun alternative. Just redoing a few of these sections just to flesh them out a little more. Right, so let me tell you about these plants and this agriculture. So this isn't just me designing plants for this world just because yeah, I mean, like, I think they probably have their own unique things. It's like when you find out how many different kinds of maize and like manioc and stuff there are, and it's just that we only use like 1 or 2 of them. I think they've probably got their own variants on a ton of things, but very specifically, this is actually to do with my alchemy video, because enchanting, and specifically the alchemical mixtures you need for enchanting, require basically dissolving living things that are dormant. So best, easiest living things to get quickly that are dormant are plants. And basically dissolving them in a fictionalized version of aqua regia, which is basically gold dissolved in hydrochloric, or not quite hydrochloric acid, something similar, I believe. So, and that kind of activates it, and then it needs to spend hours slowly dissolving stuff and absorbing. The gold inside that will then absorb the kind of vitae, I think is mana, basically, vitae, whatever you want to call it, that's kind of inherently in living things, and that's how you get alchemical mixtures. And so in this setting they need plants that grow big and they grow fast, so there are entire agricultural like economies not devoted to rapidly growing things that taste good or are even particularly nourishing, but just things that they can grow really big and really, really fast and very, very cheap. And so they have like specially bred plants that do that, and that is what we are designing today, are some special plants that they have designed to get big fast and germinate a lot. So they need to produce a lot of seeds so that they can keep producing more of the plant, if that makes sense. Like, these things need to comfortably grow really quickly, they need to produce a lot of seeds, and they need to produce a lot of plant matter. They just gotta get big. Hopefully that makes sense. Just gonna have a sip of my tea. I've seen the comment section in the corner of my eye get up, so I'm, slowly scroll up, so I'm just gonna have a read. I like how you've put it with drawing from the same references. I think that's an accurate... Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Makuta. Yeah, I think drawing from the same references, you are going to get similarities, but sometimes that is just the nature of the beast. Thomas Bridgewell, Tomska, on his second channel, Tomska and Friends, did a great a video called The Summerton Scale, based off of H. Bomber Guy's video, in which he kind of looked at like plagiarism, but also like parallel thinking and same inspiration and all of that jazz, which was really good. That Rob Human, yes, that is correct. Sorry, I knew it wasn't 100% hydrochloric acid. Yes, the other one was nitric acid, and Finn Jonas K said the same. Thank you. Yes, yeah. I knew it wasn't just hydrochloric acid, and I have my notes somewhere on it. Thank you. Yes, the other part is nitric acid. This is a fictionalized version of it, so there's other things at play and things they use that maybe wouldn't quite work in a real world setting, but I liked the idea of grounding it in reality. The idea of, with gold having these unique properties in the world of Gold and Bone, that dissolving it in this mixture would kind of make it active and able to absorb a lot of stuff, but then you also have to put a whole bunch of dangerous kind of made up chemical compounds in there to slow the process, which means that it does dissolve it, but it dissolves it more slowly, and that's so it can absorb all that good vitae goodness out of it. Hence why it just makes more sense to use plants, because if you guys remember my little trifecta, you may remember that the other big thing in alchemy is will, which is where runes come in. And what you don't want is your will being overridden by a will that's in the alchemical mixture. So if you have something sentient thinking, how could you do this to me? You're killing me. I hate you. A plague on both your houses. Or it's just like a dreaming person, even if you sedated a person and they're just having a really good dream about something, that is all going to taint the alchemical mixture and make it really dangerous to use. However, plants don't have rights, and they are stupid, stupid guys. And by that I mean they don't have a brain, but they are still alive, and so they don't cause those issues and that weird conflict. Well, that's the general idea, anyway. What would happen if a person with gold drinks aqua regia? They get very, very, very sick. And yeah, you just drank a massively toxic thing, you die, almost certainly. When I just quickly googled, what the 3-to-1 versus 1-to-3 ratio. Well, you have both the right numbers, that Rob Human, that's the main thing. To answer that one question, what would happen if you drank it? You would get sick and probably die. It would hurt a lot. So it's just going to eat the flowers. Theoretically, I think you can, but as I said, these have all been bred to be used for something else, this alchemical process, so they don't taste good. They probably don't have a lot of nutritional value. I don't know if you're familiar with survival stuff, but you know, like they're not catkins, but you know, like almost like catkin things you get at the end of like water reeds. They can be eaten, and they are horrible, and they don't taste very good, and they have almost no nutritional value, but I guess you could eat them, and it's kind of the same principle here. So if you want to extract or harvest the gold, you'll probably use sulfuric acid or other spicy mixtures, so enough of a powerful enough you could overcome or even change the outcome. Oh, enough powerful enough will. Yes and no. It wouldn't be that you change the outcome, you probably just mess it up. Because the runecraft, that's a good question though, Finjonas. So the will, which is usually imbued by meditating over runes for like hours, and then you're slowly imbuing the mixture in, and slowly your kind of ambient magic is being infused into this, and that's why you have to take your time on it, unless you're like a god creature who can just imbue it in. It's kind of similar to coding. So those runes are saying like, I think I used the jug example before. This is really helpful actually, because I'm still working out a concise way of explaining this, and it is a more complex magic system than I realised when I tried to explain it. The runes are having to explain the parameters of the object that the gold, let's say that's the gold bit there, the parameters of the object, what effect you want it to have, how long you want the effect to last, how you want that to impact the like structural integrity of the object, how much you want it to disobey and obey the laws of physics and like thermodynamics as much as people from this world could understand that. And then also it has to be within reason. It has to be like, how much alchemical mixture am I putting on this thing? Is it going to have enough juice to do that, and is it feasible to do that, and is the person who is using it going to have to activate it a certain way, or are they just going to use their brain, or are they going to have to flip a switch? And so all of that has to all be taken into account. And then if you have a tainted alchemical mixture with someone thinking, hate you very much, I'm a person, or like I'm a rat or I'm a cat walking around being angry, that's going to kind of mess all of this up, and you could get some really dangerous things happening instead of the desired outcome. Nothing like it immediately turns into a ghost that kills you, but more like, oh shoot, this fire is lasting a lot longer than it should. Stuff like that. I hope that makes some sense. I hope I'm answering these questions in an interesting way. Blabla says alchemical mixtures can have a mind of their own. Not like a full mind of their own, but like traces of a mind of their own, which is why you've got to be really careful. You tend to leave alchemical mixtures unattended, which is very dangerous, but the alternative is if someone's like in really close proximity and like watching it, wait, I can do a dumb little guy, and watching it like a hawk, and they're thinking, I gotta make sure this thing doesn't blow up, then that kind of their ambient magic is then gonna go into that when the activated aqua regia is like slowly dissolving some plants. The plants don't really have any thoughts, so it's just pure magic going in there. But, you know, this guy, his magic is gonna go in there and start tainting it. So it's more like they taint the mixture rather than they specifically imbue it to do something else. Esther says, are there people who are unaware they got gold in them? Yeah, probably. If your gold marking was somewhere where you couldn't see or you don't really check, yeah, there's every chance you could. Also, if, obviously, people's pigmentation varies, so you could have two people with the, I'm doing very cartoony drawings instead of actual ones just because it's funnier to me. You could have two people with the same, like, bone made of gold, and one of them, you know, like humans are all different. One person's pigmentation could be really obvious, like, if that's the bone, maybe the outside of them is like this whole section. And then you could have someone else where it's like, that is how much shows on the skin. And so if you had it like in your back or something, for example, and it was, I don't know, in the crack of your butt, or, you know, the pigmentation barely came through at all, and you don't look at your back a whole lot, and maybe as a baby it didn't show through, or, you know, something like that, yeah, there's every chance you might never know. Finn Genesis, are you planning on introducing a more grim tone to the world? Things like harvesting gold from humans. Yeah. So you can 100% harvest gold from an ornata. A couple of stipulations though, which I'm going to do a mini, or I plan to do a mini video after the alchemy one, which is just to fill in any gaps specifically about the ornata. But the thing with the ornata is they kind of break the rules of alchemy, and so I need to establish what those rules are first, if that makes sense. Hence why I'm going for this video first. But let's say that you... the gold inside ornata doesn't like behave the way gold should, as people have pointed out. You know, it's gold's denser, it's softer, it's all of these things. The gold inside ornata mysteriously behaves a lot more like an actual bone, and it doesn't have, as I've said in previous streams, any engraving in it, which means whatever cosmic entity is doing this has enough willpower to just kind of put their hand to their temples and mind beam their willpower into this thing without having to do any runecraft, which no human could ever do, but like a god maybe could. Like I said before, half the conflict in this is everyone going, whose god is responsible for this? And everyone's saying, mine, at the same time, and then pointing guns and swords at each other, hence why everyone's in a bit of turmoil. But if you took that gold off of an ornata, if you scraped it off of their bones, it just becomes regular gold. It no longer has any of those, it can exist inside a person, it's lighter, you know, it's you know, more like bone, it just immediately becomes like regular gold, which you could still use, but yeah, it's not got any of like the cool, unique features to it. And as we established, runecraft is about establishing the parameters of the object, in this case the person, so the second you take it out, it's also not going to have any of its you know, like abilities. So if this person could like shoot lightning, it's just gold now. You're just going to have to melt it down and make something new out of it. I hope that answers the question a little bit. The Barkeep's Journal says, just joined. If I understand this, these plants have been coated or become gold. No, not at all. They are just used in the alchemical mixtures. Unfortunately, I won't keep repeating it, but for one more time, just for those who joined a bit late, they need something alive that grows really fast and grows big and is dormant, so doesn't have a will of its own, and so plants are ideal. And so they have entire agricultures based around growing stuff big and fast that produce a lot of seeds. So I'm going to try and design some specially made, specially bred plants that they use for alchemy. I know I said this last time, but even so, etheric buffer underflow exception in error 418, I am a teapot. Yes, exactly. Exactly that Rob Human, yeah. It is kind of similar to coding in that sense. Obviously there is like a willpower element in it, so I'm just testing my brush settings. But yeah, very, very similar for sure, which is very funny. So the runes are like variables where you can mix and match for your desired purpose, but they cannot switch the magic from fireball to healing. No, I mean, once you've kind of gone in and you've started engraving and doing all of that stuff, if you really wanted to re-enchant something, you're going to have to scrape all of that gold out, and you're going to have to start again. The runes are like completely optional. But they already do them like super tiny, like maybe not quite microscopic, but think like engraving on the back of a watch, those really small ones, like really tiny engraving, hence why they have to wear, you know, all of these like magnifying lenses if they're one of that lot. Sorry, I'm just trying to think how to say it concisely, because it's a good question. Yeah, they cannot switch. It's more like they just have to start again. Do you think we could get a stream about Mr. and Mrs. Ironmonger having a wholesome date? I think it'd be a nice stream, but if you have a schedule to follow, then I understand if we don't get that. I don't think you will be getting that anytime soon. Also, it kind of happened in the stream. The two Bishat, let me grab them. She says immediately losing the plot. You're seeing inside the secret archives, and by that I mean you're just seeing a bunch of my abandoned projects because I keep starting sketches, not full projects, but starting sketches and then losing them. I believe we established in the stream that canonically these two are a couple. They are a gay couple. In fact, I perceive these two as potentially being siblings. The small Brit says gay rights. No, I think it kind of came up naturally in the stream. Someone asked about like sexuality in the Bishat, and they don't really care that much. It's not a big deal for them, and so we established that these two are actually a couple. Let's have a look. I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible. I have to wonder if someone with a prosthetic arm or leg could have their body start interweaving it into them, so for real, by depositing bodily No, that wouldn't happen, just because of all of the previous stuff I said on the stream and the rules of the magic system. That just wouldn't happen. Kind of like the magical life essence leaving the gold, making it boring. Yeah, it's almost like whatever imbued the ornata is like a magic in and of itself, maybe something a bit cosmic or interesting. And so, yeah, when you kind of take that off, it loses its enchantment. Keaton Meyer says, love your video. Let's Design, very wholesome and really enjoyable watch. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And that Rob Human says, real life coding takes willpower to not strangle my sales team. Yeah. I've got a friend who does some front end, back end developing, or has in the past. He's very, very good. And anytime I ask him how things are, he just sighs for a very long time and drinks his coffee. And I feel very bad for him. So yeah, maybe the willpower is real in real life as well. Why do you have a gay couple? Why not? Why not have a gay couple? Gay people exist. And they exist in this setting. Really interesting question. Right, almost forgot about this as Bionic Dodo, because all I think about is gay stuff. I have a whole friend group who are working in programming and such, and I love listening to their rants, yeah. As long as they got iron on them, there's no problem. Making it boring is very funny to me. Is there a ceremony or set of challenges to becoming a Bishat? Bishat is a culture, so I've done a video on the Bishat Mimic King. They are a group of people. So I guess the challenge would be assuring that you get born into their culture, because they're quite closed off and they don't tend to... They do, but they don't marry frequently out of their culture, just enough that it's managed to keep going. But no ceremony or set of challenges. They just gotta, ensure that they get born into it. Asmal says, sorry, had to ask. No, do not apologise at all for asking. If I do ever seem, blunt or rude, then I can only apologise. I promise I don't mean to be. It's just, as you can imagine, like sometimes you get asked the same question like dozens and dozens of times, and so don't take my bluntness for rudeness at you. It's just me kind of speed running the answers, if you get what I mean. So don't ever take it personally. It's never on you, ever. I love that you're interested. I just might speed run answering. I'm just getting some like textures going. I want to maybe do something interesting with the leaves. Just apropos that question there as well. Just saying, if you are homophobic, this might be the wrong stream for you. So I just thought I'd put that out there to anyone. Obviously, don't send hate anyone's way, but yeah, just saying, if you have an issue with the portrayal of someone other than a straight person, that might not work, Chief. Can't believe I am saying that, or I have to say it rather, but there we go. I also got asked a few times out of the stream if I'm planning on maybe turning this into a tabletop RPG. If I am, it's a ways off, kind of like, if you think how long, people have compared me a few times to Simon from Monster Garden, which is very flattering. I think he's bags more talented than me and skilled, but it's very flattering. If you think how long he's been working on this, and he works on it full time, it would be a little ways off. That being said, I have actually been, for those of you who don't know, I have written for several published tabletop RPGs, including the Doctor Who RPG. I think 8 or 9 published, not just for Doctor Who, but in general. Some of which I can mention and some I cannot because they are not out yet and I'm under an NDA. But I've never written one just like directed by me, if you know what I mean. So that's something I'm trying to change. And I do have a tabletop RPG in the works, designed to be played asynchronously for people who physically can't meet in person or don't have the right schedules to all meet at the same time, in person or otherwise. So hopefully I will try and get something out at some point. I think that could be really exciting. Let me just have a read. Another question regarding the will part, says Finn. Does the current mood or the overall soul influence the process? So should you not work on runes while you're having a bad day or dark period? That's a really good question. I would say yes, if you're not good at basically suppressing your feelings. So if you are someone who can, so rune craft or rune work is considered a very meditative thing. You have to get very zen. And so yeah, I can imagine if you're not very good at basically suppressing your feelings, then yeah, I would say yeah, that's a really good question. I would say yeah, you probably need to say it's not safe for me to be doing this. It might not work out. We might get a little, explosion or something like that. I'm just kind of having fun with shapes at the minute. So sorry if this doesn't make sense as a plant. I just kind of want to do something a little bit more off the rails and interesting. Like maybe I want it to maybe be a bit asymmetrical, so I'm just trying that out. And this is like the bits that haven't bloomed yet. Something like that. Von Hesem says, I've never seen a gay couple in a medieval setting. Then you've not seen a historically accurate medieval setting. Contrary to popular belief, replacing the gay agenda with the straight agenda, to quote, it's not James Somerton, he stole that quote. I'm going to look it up, but basically, replacing the gay agenda with the straight agenda does not mean that there is no agenda. To imply that gay people were invented is a nonsense. It's kind of embarrassing for you, actually, that you think that gay people didn't exist in medieval times. That's very historically inaccurate of you. And yes, Finn says, isn't no one going to talk about ancient Greek and Roman society? Because they were very gay. Wheat Stream says, Matt M, hell yeah, love some sedentary agriculture. Yep. World building can't always be crazy. I mean, I guess it could be crazy stuff. No one can stop me. But that being said, I do need to just get some ideas down for this grow fast wheat. Any ideas and references are welcome. It doesn't have to be wheat. I just like the idea of it being very agricultural. The main stipulations are it has to look like it grows fast, it germinates a lot of seeds, and it grows big. Those are kind of like the things we need for it. So it doesn't need to be wheat, but I thought wheat would be a really nice reference. And then I'm kind of going a bit off the rails crazy with it. These little hair things that wheat have, I think those are neat. If you couldn't tell. Which one is older and younger sibling if you have decided that yet, says Heck. Oh, that's a good question. There's something very funny about, I think the sister's older, just because I love that thing of like younger person, clearly much taller than the adult. It's always very funny. As someone who used to be a teacher, and I specifically taught 16 to 18-year-olds for the most part. There was nothing funnier to me than me having to look up at my usually male but also female students, you know, and try and get stern with them, hands on hips, very disappointed, all of that jazz, but also they're like a foot taller than me, so maybe we'll do that. It's not all twins. Twins could be fun. The joys of it not actually being real-life medieval says, yeah, it's also not, it's inspired by actually the Age of Exploration. So some of the cultures aesthetically are like medieval European, but in terms of the tech level disparity, it's inspired by the Age of Exploration, where you had this massive, you know, sliding scale of tech. You had people with muskets on one end, and then in parts of, you know, like South America, just purely because of resources, like they just didn't really have those resources or the necessity to develop them. You had cultures that hadn't left the Stone Age. It's absolutely crazy to think about. It's kind of like how Cambridge University here in the UK is about as old as, I've forgotten which Mesoamerican empire. I believe either the Mayan or Aztec, one of the Mesoamerican empires is like, it's the same age. And people, yeah, there's something so crazy about that time that you can have tech levels that are just completely polar opposites existing at the same time. And while this setting is a more extreme example of that, it's not far off how it actually was. And it's also not to disparage those tribes in South America who were in that position, because my god, the stuff that they did with stone is phenomenal. Yeah, really cool. I'm not homophobic, I'm just asking questions, no need to be angry with me. I didn't say that, I'm just saying, yeah, if that's an issue, then you might need to head off. Like I said, like that Rob Human is saying, I'm not angry, I'm just setting expectations up. Matt M says, Rip Finch is NDA Jones right now. Oh, no. I wish I was that cool. No. I've a couple of the NDAs are just specifically my contributions, because for those projects I believe they are now being like advertised for pre-order and stuff, but if I'm not 100% certain and I don't have a chance to check, I always err on the side of caution, because I get really passionate about the things I write for, even if they're not my project per se, and I don't trust myself to not accidentally you know, break NDA just being enthusiastic. So I usually wait until it's out, just to be on the safe side, you know? Which is probably a good sign. It means that I'm someone who's passionate about what they do, but I'm also smart enough to not ruin it. So hopefully that's an okay balance there. Hopefully I can make that work. You know what it's like, I'm sure we've all gone on excited rambles. Right. Asimo says, it's perfectly right. Being an artist and a streamer is stressful. Been there. Also, fun fact, plants that grow into giants grow fast and produce billions of seeds. Giant Strangler figs. Ooh, Asimov, thanking you. Let me have a little look at those. Giant Strangler figs. Ooh, these are very cool. And I see what you mean. I've seen these before and I didn't know that's what they were called. Because they literally, like, you can see them on, like, old stone structures and they genuinely, like, strangle them. Let's see what the seeds look like for those. That's crazy. Look at this. I'm just gonna copy paste this into my thing because this is so neat. Look at this. So they literally get into a tree, wrap around the host tree, and then destroy the host tree. Like, they suck all its nutrients out. That is crazy. I'm learning so much. Thank you, Asimov. I don't know if they'd work for the agriculture side of things, but I love these so much. I've got to use them for something else. The fact that they like cover the host and suck out its nutrients from like the inside out is so cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really like this. This is really neat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use this at some point. That's so cool. Thank you. Someone says, we're not mad, just cautious. There were bigots in the previous streams. Yeah, exactly. I'm just being cautious. It's why, once again, I always emphasize, don't be mean to someone. Don't go out of your way to harm them. And I know tone doesn't always carry well on the internet. But the one thing I will say is that if you do question why gay people exist, then you might have things that you need to examine. And I don't mean that in a judgy, sarcastic way. I mean genuinely, if you find yourself frequently questioning the existence of a group of people, it might be a chance to kind of examine that and grow a little bit and think, ironically, growing a little bit while we do this plant stream. Yeah, have a think, have a consider about why that might be. I am having fun doing this. I hope the texture is kind of coming across, and then at the top they kind of flare out and kind of curl in on themselves, was what I was thinking, almost. If that's kind of coming across. I'm going to go a bit sketchier for the rest of this, just so we can... I also kind of want it, you know when it like thickens around certain points? You kind of get like that. I kind of want that vibe going on as it goes down, so you can kind of see I'm like almost... Let's move this up a little. There we go. I'm really liking this one. It's fun to do. I can imagine all the different cultures have maybe different plants they use if they do alchemy. So maybe I need to look at some desert produce and see if there's any characteristics there, like things that grow in deserts. Maybe there'd be a culture that uses like lichen or mushrooms instead. That could work. I'd need to get some lichen references up, so maybe I will in just a sec. Are you drawing with computer or tablet? I'm drawing with the tablet. I'm a little late. What's poppin'? Hey, Green August, come on in. Oh, Green August. Sorry, Augustine. Sorry, I'm an idiot for a second. I grew up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and for a second I couldn't read text speak. Do different types of plants have different effects like fruit? No, so none of these plants have effects. They just need something that grows real fast, real big, and germinates a lot of plants and stuff like seed pods and stuff like that. It doesn't need to taste good. It doesn't need to have any nutritional value. It's just going to get burnt in a vat of aqua regia, which we have now established is, thank you very much to Finn and that Rob Human. It's a mixture of hydrochloric and nitric acid, plus a few fantasy powders and chemicals to change how it dissolves and interacts with things and stuff like that. But yeah, it just needs to be something big that's technically alive, that doesn't have willpower of its own, so plants, perfect, and it just needs to be thrown in a big ol' vat and then left. And that's all you need it for. So I think technically you could eat all of these, but they would all taste absolutely disgusting. Maybe you could shape-wise be inspired by when cold metal gets thrown into water and they hard. Yeah, it could be interesting. Not a Dutch guy says, wait up is the small Brit. Sorry, I am very far behind on the chat because it's popping off, so I'm going to just try and skim through. Wait up, is the small Brit actually small? Yes, I am 5'1". I am still waiting on my growth spurt, but something something tells me it's not coming anytime soon. I think I missed that window. Oxford University is older than the Incan Empire, says Alex. Yes, absolutely. I am skimming through very fast. Sorry, I didn't realise how fast the chat was moving. I love it. Vampire Figs, new existential dread unlocked. Same. Alex Simpkin says, are only humans Ornata in this world? I think for now, yes. But maybe there are creatures with other effects. So something I've mentioned before, but I will just reiterate in this stream just for context. Ornata only started showing up. I think the earliest recorded one was 150 years ago, but they only started being like properly documented in like the last 100-ish years, give or take a little bit. Not super long at all. And so there is a possibility that currently it's only whatever cosmic force is causing this is only people, but then like maybe eventually it will start occurring in animals, and there's probably rumors that, oh yeah, I definitely have like this cow Ornata, come and pay me money at my sideshow attraction to come and see it. You know, like, oh, you say there's no such thing as a cow Ornata, well 120 years ago people said there was no such thing as a gold human, and now look at it. Asma says, thank you very much. You're most welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love it when people share their passions with me. That's awesome. So the monkey is shooting lightning out of his fingers. Yeah, well, I don't. Hopefully, if you had an Ornata animal, you would not enchant them. I am the small Brit after all. Rootfinch and Snuggle. I am snuggle-sized is now part of my vocabulary. Me too. The thing I always say if someone makes fun of my height is, what you're saying is, the worst part is that there isn't more of me. I like to imagine I'm like one of those, let me do a different layer for this so I don't mess up this plant, because I'm vibing with it. I like how it looks. Do you remember that? I don't even know what they're called. They probably have different brand names. But they're basically in like a little packet, and they would be like a dinosaur or something like that. And then you would like, that's not a dinosaur. And then you would like put them in a glass of water, and you would leave them for a few days, and they would get like big. That's me. I'm not allowed near public pools, not for any nefarious reasons, but because if I get in there, I actually increase by like 5-fold, and I get real big. And that's my secret. My deep, dark secret. Has the same vibes as Why No Friend when friend-shaped. OMG, it's like all those cows that were tried for witchcraft. Yes, heck, absolutely. If any of you guys have not done a little deep dive on all the cows that were tried for witchcraft, it is both simultaneously very sad and genuinely very funny. You know, just ridiculous, and I love it. It's so stupid. Like that, the prophet chicken of... It was somewhere here in the UK, there was a woman who said that her chicken was laying eggs that said Jesus is coming on them, and it turns out what she was doing was writing it on a chicken's egg, and before people came to watch the chicken lay the egg, she would, like, pop it back in. There's so much bonkers stuff out there. How many nations, countries would you say are in your world? That's a really good question. I would say a lot. I'm kind of building them piece by piece at the minute. So we've got the Bashat, which are a very small one. But the reason I started with them is because if this is a map from above, they are on a mountain range. And I imagine that they bisect a lot of different countries, so I thought they'd be like a fun one to build out. And also they were small and easy to do. The next one I kind of want to do, I talked about last stream, I am nicknaming Big Slice of Europe one, where it's like a full peninsula that used to be several different kingdoms, and then through conquest, but also a lot of like, you know, royal families marrying and alliances and stuff like that. It's, I don't know, something, let's get rid of the refs. You know, something like this, and maybe like a, you know, that sort of thing. And it's like one explicitly Europe coded, so it's like, think north to south, you're getting more Mediterranean, you know, French through to like Spanish coded. But then more with the capitals like here, this is like medieval Europe inspired aesthetically, and the external is more French and British, Napoleonic Age of Exploration. That's where you're going to get all like your tricorn hats and your cool shoulder capes and your muskets, and they still use them here, it's just that the aristocracy are very medieval Europe inspired. And then as you go south, you're also going to get more, you know, like Spanish and Portuguese inspired as you go down. And in my head, this used to be like several different countries, and now it's just one big country. So lots, and there's all of my Pinterest boards that I'm using for real cultural references, they're all called really dumb stuff. There's one that I've got which is going to be inspired by parts of the Middle East and also India, which is for lots of like, one of my favourite things to draw, even if I'm not the best at it, lots of long flowy fabric and like clasps and stuff like that. Like cool dresses and men's robes and stuff that are all very long. And they have, I think, a sect I very briefly talked about last time called the somnambulists, so basically sleepwalkers. I might have even like doodled one of them somewhere. Maybe not. But yeah, there's like a group called the somnambulists who sleepwalk and take drugs and stuff to do that. Oh gosh, I remember those. Most people remember them, yeah. I know what you're talking about, I don't remember what they're called. Yeah, I'm basically a gremlin. Yeah, don't put me in a pool and don't feed me after midnight. That's one of the darkest secrets I've ever heard. Yeah, I might have to kill all of you. No, I shouldn't say that even on stream. I could get demonetized. I'll have to have you dealt with now that you know my deepest, darkest secret. Oh, so the Holy Roman Empire says, like, yes, very much. I've kind of called it the Latin Roman Empire inspired one. The legally distinct Holy Roman Empire, yes, yeah, 100%. Finn Jonas says, concerned German noises. Why are we in the whole of Northern Europe missing? Shh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. No, it's probably because, well, probably I say, it's mostly because I intend to make that sort of inspired thing a distinct other group. So it was just, I'm making this, obviously putting my own spin on it, but taking groups and giving them distinct flavorings or taking inspiration from one or two real world references. So there's definitely some Germanic ones on the horizon. And you'll probably see some Germanic references in the legally distinct Holy Roman Empire. How many of y'all are snuggle-sized? Obviously, small attracts small, right? We just, are drawn to one another. Someone keeps saying Unata war animals over and over again. I don't know what you mean by that. Can you explain what you mean by that? I don't know what that means. Death threats from the small break. Yeah, I'm not very good at them because I also end up getting too polite and apologising, which I think somewhat maybe devalues the threatening nature of them. It's always ethical to plagiarise the Holy Roman Empire. It sure is, Matt. It sure is. Hey, I think everyone is snuggle-sized coffee addicted nerd. Also, great username. Yeah, you are. Matt M is tiny. They are handbag-sized 6'1". That is cuddle-sized. Everyone is cuddle-sized. My giant Bishat men and women, they are all cuddle-sized. In fact, they probably give great hugs. Now I think about it. Just as a apropos. Nothing at all. Is anyone reading anything at the minute? And if so, what are you reading? Tell me. I like how this one, sorry if you can hear me slurping away, I'm just drinking a little drink. I know what I need to do. There we go. Just so there's a little bit more room. I'm just moving some of these up so we have more room. One of the things I did try and do was look at corn, at stuff other than corn, like manioc and maize and like ancient stuff, because there's like so many different kinds of veggies and seedlings out there, and yet we only really use a small portion of them. It's like how there's like an ungodly number of banana varieties and we only eat one of them. So I'm just rejigging these a little bit. Just giving me a bit of room to breathe while I do some more sketches. I do want to kind of try and fill this, so there we go. I'm done with this one for now. Let's see if we can do another weird shape. This is more kind of like this one, but maybe we can do something different with it. I know nature loves symmetry, but given that these are specially bred, I feel like maybe we could make them like interesting, like maybe they're asymmetrical. Or some of them are. Once again, there isn't a single final design because each culture will probably have their own stuff they like. And I think after this one, I might try my hand at like a lichen or something like that, or maybe like a water-based one, like a lotus root equivalent, if you get what I mean. This is almost dragon fruit looking, like a dragon fruit shaped pod. That could be kind of cool. I stand by it. Because like I said, it's just got to grow fast, look like it has a lot of bulk, and produce a lot of seeds. As long as it does that, then it meets the brief. Something like that. Just gonna have a little sip of my drink. Whoop. Ooh, I'm loving all of these things that people are reading. Clockwork Orange says 1. All Quiet on the Western Front. Good choice, good choice. Or even if it's for your English class, still good choice. You're listening to an audio drama called Sojourn. Awesome. I'm currently reading We Always Lived in That Castle. Says 1. Most people in the world attribute it to divine intention, one is natural reasons unknown. That's an alien egg hidden in some leaves. You can't fool us. It's kind of got that vibe, hasn't it? Just a random guy from the internet, cool username, says maybe the plants would be intentionally bred to be poisonous to deter pests and people harvesting them where... That's a really good idea, actually, yeah, because, like I said, they don't have to be eaten, so I suppose they could breed them to be poisonous. Or, once again, every culture does their own thing, so there could be one who's like, no, we're not gonna make it poisonous, can risk someone getting hurt. But I guarantee one of the bigger factions who maybe care a little bit less about their community would be like, yeah, we'll just make it poisonous. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I might just use that, with your permission, of course. Have you read Conjure Claire and Holly Black's Magisterium? I've not, but I have read some of Holly Black's stuff before because I believe, unless I'm misremembering, she wrote the Spiderwick Chronicles, which I adore and have extolled the virtues of in other streams. So I am familiar with Holly Black's work, but I've not read Magisterium, unfortunately. I have been reading a really good book by Hannah Kaner, who's a Scottish author, called God Killer, and oh my god, I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. It's one of my favourite aesthetics in fiction, which is gods of really specific things. Like, one of my old D&D settings had that, where there was the old gods who were all like the classic D&D gods of war and all of that, and then you have like the god of forgotten things and the god of vagabonds and the god of bureaucracy and all of these weirdly like specific gods. And God Killer does that as well. You've got like gods of white lies and gods of just like certain locations, and you can have multiple gods of the same thing, so you're not the god of war, you are a god of war. It's very, very cool. I'd recommend it. And also God Killer is one of the few times that I have seen not only a great female protagonist, like 26, grizzled, very Witcher-esque, she's very cool, but also an accurate portrayal of someone with a prosthetic in this kind of hybrid medieval setting. Like, there's times where she needs to like take a break or it starts to catch up with her. And I like they show that vulnerability. It's very good. Someone says, highly recommend the Silt verses. Ooh, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, Shadow Coconut says, perhaps some communities would still use some of the plants for eating in moments of scarcity, so they wouldn't want it. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like I said, I don't think these are especially, like, nutritious, but if your options are eat nothing or eat this, then you would probably eat this, and it probably wouldn't taste great. And maybe there's even a culture who has done, hey, why don't we do both? Let's see if we can make something that maybe doesn't go quite as fast as the other cultures' ones, but that's because we've not sacrificed nutrition, or whatever they understand nutrition to be, and edibility. Something like that, maybe. That being said, they are a setting where loads of people probably still think panning is good for you, so who knows, maybe not. I think it would depend on the culture and even subcultures within that, certain areas and districts and all of that. I do love me a good pantheon. What about perennial plants like giant hogweed? They would stay small the first year. Yeah, it's funny you should mention that, actually. Really good question. Hogweed was one of the other potential references I did want to look at. In fact, I'm just making a note of it now to draw. Yeah, I think hogweed is a really good example. I kind of drew a bit of inspiration from hogweed with this one. Obviously, hogweed is more like that, and it's got like the flowers on top. This is me doing it really badly, but you get the gist. I did it on the same layer. It's all going wrong. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, hogweed's kind of like this, isn't it? And then it's got all of these white flowers on the top. Yeah, that is definitely a reference I've got in the back of my mind. Solar Solitaire says, a question about animals in your world. In our world, animals like hyenas can actually digest bones, like their stomachs and jaws are powerful enough for that. Are there animals like that in your world? Yeah, there are. I think a lot of real-world animals exist in this setting, so there's every chance hyenas just exist in this setting. I'll probably do my own takes on animals, or like breeds of them, or like, oh, this thing is a cousin of the goat, or you know, similar to a giraffe or an elephant, but not one. But yeah, I think there's bridges to do that. Oh yeah, says just a random guy from the internet. So the more industrialized nations have like huge filled with toxic spore clouds. I can tell you're into 30k, yeah. Also, yeah, absolutely. I think depending on where you go, some places would be like, oh, let's think about the people. Let's try and, I know it grows faster this way, but let's try and keep it a bit edible. Let's keep it non-toxic. And then the others are like, industrialization, go brr. Let's get this growing as fast as humanly possible, gang. We're all in this together, and by that I mean you dying is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, you know. I think there's a lot of that. Depending on where you go, for sure. Oh, also, for those of you who were on the last stream, this maybe won't mean as much to other people, but I double-checked my notes, and the surnames of 2 of those 3 characters I mentioned are not spoilers. I just wanted to double-check they weren't for, like, one of the more, like, plot, for want of a better term, oriented ones. So the names of the 3 that I'm working on from the legally distinct Holy Roman Empire are E.D. Kemlo, who I mentioned before, Elion de Serva, and Anthony Warwick. So keep your eyes peeled, they will be occurring. Terrible handwriting because I'm trying to squeeze it in. Let's there you go. Yeah, because this one I called them X and X. I kind of put their thing in parentheses like this because I wanted to double check, but no, they are not spoilers. We are all good on that front. Oh, a part 2 from Solo Solitaire. If those animals ended up eating Unata's golden bones for some reason, what would happen to them? Yeah, the gold would just be useless without the Unata. It just becomes, like I said earlier, it just becomes regular gold. So depending on how much they ate, they might get some issues. But yeah, typically it just nothing, really. Industrialization go burr is a quote that will remain in my brain for a while, I'm sure. Lung cancer go burr was my first thought, says Bionic Dodo. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. The bone eating animal question could also look back to animal nature, in my opinion. Nothing would happen. Like I said before, the second the gold is off the object or person, it just doesn't do anything. It's just gold at that point. It needs remelting, re-engraving, re-enchanting, rejuicing with alchemical mixture. It just stops being a thing. That feeling when all the peasants develop lung cancer but alchemy be booming. Yeah, the alchemy/enchanting game is strong. Who cares about anything else? My liege, we doubled our crop harvest. Oh, and also the farmers developed lung cancer and are dying slowly, just FYI. Love me some magic hurtweed, but also can go quite dark with the way poor people... Yeah, I mean, like, so, you know, obviously we're talking about this in a joking hypothetical, but, like, I'm really not feeling this, and I don't like abandoning a sketch, but we're gonna delete our art gang. Are you ready? I'm gonna delete it. Are you ready? Boom, it's gone. We don't need it. Gonna leave the names up there just to confuse people. And we're gonna draw something else. Delete your art. I think what I'm gonna try and do is like something a bit crazier looking, but still just want to get some interesting shapes down. So maybe something like that. Something like this could be kind of fun. Yeah, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. So like, you know, people got poisoning in cotton fields all the time. Like, that was a genuine thing, and cotton isn't technically like, it's not like you touch it and you get breakout in hives usually, right? It's typically not immediately toxic to people, but just enough exposure to it. So 100% people working in these fields are probably at a massively increased risk, right? Presentation video. I mean, everyone asked if there was like an Ornata with an all gold skeleton. I mean, theoretically, it's just not happened. Does that mean? I guess, yeah, the gold parts of an Ornata wouldn't decay, but then bones don't tend to decay the same way like flesh does. So if you dug up a body, you would probably find the skeleton plus the gold. Had to ask because if the gold in Ornata is biologically deposited and grown, it makes sense that... No, it just can't be absorbed. It's been put there by something cosmic and magical, but it's clearly there's something going on there. No. The second it leaves an Ornata, it's worthless because, yeah, as that Rob Human is pointing out, enchanting and engraving gold makes it usable, and Ornata don't innately have their magical abilities. They have to go get basically injected with an attenuated form of the aqua regia stuff with some hand-wavy, not real, obviously, chemicals in to try and make it less toxic to a person, but it also takes longer and it tends to make them very sick. If anyone's ever had or seen people have chemo and you've smelt that stuff and it's like, wow, that is poison, that should not be going into like the human body. It's the same there, and it's very risky. There's a high mortality rate, so you might be halfway there as an Ornata, but you still need to go get souped up, which is how the quote-unquote legally distinct Roman Empire has expanded as well as it has, because they actually say, hey, doesn't matter what culture you're from, in exchange for 3 years of military service, if you're over the age of 18, you can come to us regardless of your ethnic background or nationality, and you can get yourself souped up. And obviously after 3 years, if you want to stay on, you can. And if not, you can go and live your life with whatever magical gift that we have bestowed upon you. But then once again, it's a magical setting. It's not all going to abide by scientific stuff. But yeah, the second it leaves the Ornata, it's just regular gold. It's almost like whatever cosmic entity has done it is like, nope, you don't. You get one go, just for this guy. Just playing around with some like weird plant shapes. See what I'm kind of going for? Like a weird... something like that. Can people get sick from long-term exposure to certain kinds of magic? No, because, so like if they're living next to a heavily magical area and disease, not particularly, no. Magic, or like vitae, I think is, I was about to write it and it was going to mirror it, yeah. In fact, that looks cool, we're going to do it anyway. Vitae, as some people call it, mana, magic, whatever you want to call it. It's just general ambient energy that reacts to your will. If it doesn't have a conduit, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah, no, there's not different kinds of magic. There is just magic. It's like if you asked if there were, I know some science person will probably correct me on this, but there's different kinds of electricity. It's just electricity, you know. There isn't like the magic evil kind of electricity. It's just the thing that makes the thing go. And I know that there is someone out there who does physics who just took a hit out on me, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Yeah, there isn't like schools of magic. There might be schools of theory, but that would be more alchemy focused, or enchantment and alchemy, which are very so inextricably linked that many of them use the term interchangeably. Asimov says, thanks for putting up with my curiosity. I know people asking questions can be taxing. As an autistic, I have tendency to ask. No, you are totally fine. I'm very happy to answer questions. If I just go a little blunter, it's just because I've heard the same one a few times, and I'm just kind of being, like I said before, it's not against any one person. I'm not being rude to you. I'm just being perfunct and brief just because I've already answered it a few times. So please don't take it personally. I don't like how this plant looks. We're erasing it, lads. There we go. Just kind of getting some shapiness to it. I really love this new brush. Well, like I said, new to me. I'm sure other people have been using it for a while. Big fan. Big fan. Oh, yeah, look how texturous this can get. I love it. Not a Dutch guy says, yeah, I used to transport chemo medication in the Netherlands, and there was a literal rule that said if you dropped it, you had to run away and call a specialised clear. Yeah, this is the thing. Chemo is the best way I can describe that specially made alchemical mixture that they try and use in Ornata is, once again, their tech level isn't exactly super high, so there is a mortality rate, and like long-term sickness from getting enchanted. It happens over like kind of one long sedated session. But yeah, it's definitely stuff that you're like, oh my god, I should not be putting this into my body. This is not good for me. And as I say, if any of you have actually had or known people with, you know, taking chemo, it's basically just poison. And you're like, gee, I hope this kills the cancer before it kills me. And it's obviously it's not the same thing with the Ornata, but there's a similar principle there with the enchantment process, where it's like, you've got to hope that the thing appears to take before the mixture offs you or messes you up or makes you have a seizure and stuff like that. Yeah. Because I wanted it to be gnarly. I want, especially because obviously Ornata are born with their, not their abilities ready to go, but they're almost there. Like, they just need to be souped up a little bit. But then also, like, there's like a bit of a looking down on them thing from alchemists, because they're like, typical, we like train our entire lives to do this. You wouldn't get souped up on the old magic juice if it wasn't for us, and yet without working for it, an absolute idiot from like the middle of nowhere can just get the ability to fly. You know, and on the other hand, it would take me years of research to make an enchantment that good, and you're just born with one. And so I think there is a little bit of like jealousy there from them. And so I wanted there to be the balancing factor for the Ornata of like, yeah, but they're also like, they could die from this process. That's the risk you're taking. Does the spirituality of a person impact the magic that they can produce? No, they are just, it's just the second they come into the world as a little, oh, I forgot about the symmetry. The second you come into the world as like a little baby, and you're just there like, oh boy, I hope I get something cool. Too late, you're already born with it, it's already inside you, you're already, that was meant to be a baby in the womb. He's like, oh boy, I sure hope I get a cool ability. Well, too late, kid. You actually already have a really sucky ability, and you won't know until you risk your life to get it. So you could go through all of that and then find out your Ornata ability is horrible and garbage. Or not what you wanted. I'm having so much fun drawing this hopeful Ornata baby, more than I probably should, but look at him. Look at his little face. He's so happy. He's thinking about how he's going to shoot lightning out of his fingertips, and then it turns out that he can just hear quite well. I love dumb Ornata baby. Look at him go. He's going away now. There we go. Last use symmetry. I have a tendency to apologise too much for myself. Fine. I'm just reading my way through the comments. Bear with me. What brush am I using? Asks Hoop and B. I'm using one called, I don't know if it's, I've just realised my pop-ups don't show up on the stream, which is a bit annoying, but it's one called Palette Knife, and I've fully forgotten where I got it from, but it's got some really nice like texture and some good pressure sensitivity, which is great for me because I'm very picky about it, and I was just saying earlier in the stream, I'm really loving using this. It's been really nice to use something a bit different. Michael Amaguni says, we don't trust the alchemist, they have bad vibes, is a potentially funny. Yeah, the user can mess up the chanting process by having bad vibes. I see who you're replying to, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, are you sure you're fine using the potion bought by the sketchy back alley alchemist? Yeah, you probably want to be careful, which is why a lot of the academies they do it all in-house, if you know what I mean. Like, they will have, and that's kind of what, sorry, here's the plants. Let me just go to my other alchemy things and save, trying to hit the save button. That's why I've got all of these different guys here. They're all meant to represent, like, different parts of the process. So we've got, like, these guys here, who I imagine are, like, what I call vat workers, so people who work primarily with the alchemical mixtures. And then you've got, like, this guy here, who is someone who works on the enchanting and engraving. I think this woman here would either be the imbuing process, so taking what these guys have done and what these guys have done and souping it up, or she works with, like, the plants, you know, like, gathering them and doing all of that stuff. And I think these guys would, like, mix all the dangerous chemicals and make, because aqua regia isn't the only part, there's, like, tons of, like, minor chemicals used to balance out the process, and I think they work with that. So a lot of them tend to do it in-house just to be on the safe side. Hex says, I can levitate but only 1 inch off the ground. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh boy, I'm so glad I risked my life for this. Good stuff. Name of the first book, The Hopeful Ornata Baby. Everything I touched is purple. I can communicate with tard. Actually, no, you take that back, that Rob Human, because tardigrades are one of my 3 favourite animals. So being able to communicate with them would be a dream come true. They didn't have a lot to say, but I could speak with them. I can feel every plant in a 1 mile radius. Blow bubbles from your ears. I can make a cow spherical on command. I can see through walls at least 100 feet wide. Yeah, it's funny because you say that, but literally, yeah, it's like a cautionary tale. I did want to have an ornata with, like, a kind of... There is an implication, another reason people suspect that, like, the enchantment process is done by a sentient being is because gold placement on other objects isn't 100% necessary for the thing to happen. So if you had a jug, I'm using the jug option because it's just such a good example, and you wanted it to do something when it poured, you could still have the gold here. It wouldn't have... people like to put gold where the thing happens, but it's not always essential. And so there's a few indicators other than the clear, like, cosmic, this shouldn't happen and yet it does, why does this happen thing. It's that obviously, the ornata are, like, being imbued by something with so much willpower they don't need runes. Oh, I forgot about this, there we go. 2, the gold placement seems intentional. It always seems to be somewhere that roughly indicates their ability, as best as one can. And 2, the abilities for the most part seem relatively practical. Like, none of them are gonna be like, I can turn into a lamp once, or, like, I can die instantly on command once. Like, they are all gonna be something, but they could also, yeah, be like, I can see through wood and nothing else, or, like, I can levitate 2 inches off of the ground and that's it, which is still, like, that's a cool ability. You could, for example, go across water, but it's not, like, phenomenal, you know. There seems to be some intent behind them. They're never like, I can die instantly on command. Just a random guy from the internet, maybe the enchanting folks could take some kind of drug that kind of dampen their emotion. Yeah, mate, you're coming up with all the good ideas. Big brain. Let me make a note of that. Maybe if one of these plants doesn't feel like... I'm going to delete this, actually. If one of these plants doesn't feel like it would work for the alchemical mixture, I'm just going to put... I am just going to put Stoner Enchanter, or Stoner Alchemist, and I'm going to leave that note for future me. That's a really good idea. Like, maybe they take drugs for when they're doing their rune crafts, so that they stay almost like weird emotion-suppressing ADD medication, where they're basically like, I need to hyper-focus on just this, and I cannot think about anything else, and I need to meditate on this for like the next 9 hours. Let's, you know, let's get this sorted. I love that. Thank you so much for these great ideas. I'm just going to put that in the top and not explain it to anyone who asks. I think it'd be kind of cool if we got some like Mandrake-esque bits going here. Hex says, I can survive the vacuum of space, which isn't a thing anyone has discovered. Yeah, that would be a funny one. Oh, and Not a Dutch Guy says, what are the other 2 animals that join the tardigrade on this 3-way stage? That is an excellent question. So, at the minute, it is the tardigrade, it is cuttlefish, and it is, oh god, I can't believe I've forgotten my 3rd favourite animal. It's tardigrades, cuttlefish, and... Oh, no, wait, because I was having a rethink recently, because I found some other... I think it was a nudibranch. I think nudibranchs are probably up there for me. Because they're so stupid, they just look like little Pokemon. Love them so much. There's a lot of potential things in the chat. Clam says, question, are an artist's abilities at a fixed level of power intensity, or is it like a skill they can practice with? I think it's both. Because the potency of an enchantment is like the quality of the gold, the amount of will imbued into it, and the quality of the alchemical mixture. But for Ornata, the alchemical mixture seems very, very secondary. If you have a potent ability, and as I said, everyone's pretty certain some kind of cosmic being is the one behind it, you know, that seems to supersede everything else, unlike in regular enchantment, because whatever is doing this is just super powerful, and their gold seems to be like some of the purest. I think that there is probably a cap, like there is only so powerful you can get, but an Ornata does get better and more adept at using their abilities the more they practice, so they might have potential they've not reached yet, if that kind of makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Not a Dutch guy says a nudibranch. A what now? Oh boy, am I excited to share this with you. They are spelt like this. I forgot I have my symmetry turned on. Oh well. Nudibranch. Oh, that's terrible handwriting. What am I doing? It's because I'm not used to this new pressure sensitivity. Yeah, nudibranchs. They are like, yeah, I mean, if you just Google image them, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. And a lot of them have weird, like, markings, like they're smiling and they're friend-shaped, and I really just love that so much. Look at them go. Shadow Coconut says, so it could be that the guy who levitates an inch off the ground could improve to levitate. Yeah, like maybe he was always able to go up to a foot, but he just needed to practice a little bit more. Or maybe he's always going to be capped at a foot, but like doing it used to fatigue him and tire him out, and now he can just keep going. Like maybe it used to be like running or sprinting, or like maybe even give him like a nosebleed or make him sick, and now he's like, yeah, it's like I'm not even expelling any effort, I could just keep going for ages. So like maybe it's only an inch off the ground, but it means that he can just keep going and he doesn't tire, you know. So like maybe there's more to it than he initially realized, and he could be like, oh yeah, initially I thought it was terrible, and then I realized as long as I'm conscious I can literally go across an ocean, and I won't get tired. Sun says, a nudibranch, just found them, very cute and colourful. Yes, they are very cute. I love them a lot. Is it possible to see your Pinterest or have its name? It's... that's very kind of you, Max. Unfortunately, I'm keeping that secret for now. Also because then it doesn't put any pressure on myself. Like, one of the things I like about a project like this is, you know, I'm saying all of this now like it's 1000% canon forever, but like, you know, I might retcon something or decide I want to change something, or, you know, anything like that. And I think keeping that just for myself and my own reference is just how I'd rather keep it for now. I hope you understand and you can forgive me, my darling. Someone said, oh my god, the funny guy is so happy. Oh, was that about the nudibranch? Yeah, they all have like weird markings. There's like one where it's all, let me turn the symmetry off. It's all just like weird tentacle things, but it looks like he's doing this, and I love it so much. I don't think he has any eyes, or his eyes are like, my eyes are up here. I think his eyes are like here, but the way that some of the nudibranchs are presented, it just looks like they're going, oh, and I love that so much. There's just something very fun about that to me. Just a random guy from the internet says, maybe some alchemists are so salty about the Ornata being built better for magic and try to recreate the magic gold, but yeah, I mean, there's probably people out there who've tried. None of it's been successful. Same with like, people keep asking, I already answered it in that Q&A video I did actually, but about like replacing bones, and it's like, I mean, like in theory, but then you've got metal toxicity, the gold will be too dense and won't work right. Bone surgery is so deadly nowadays. Imagine what it was like in the age of exploration when some people still thought like drilling a hole in your head is good for you. Like, I don't doubt people have tried. but none have succeeded. For sure. Could there be any countries that outlaw Ornata for religious or humanic? I don't know if there's anywhere that outlaws them, but I do think that depending on, because you know you're born that way. That's one of the few things that seems to be disputed. Some people dispute who's born with them, like, oh, chosen ones are born with them, and others are like, no, I do think it is just random people. But how you're treated does depend on the country. So some places are like, you were made as a tool, you are made to serve. We enchant objects, you are in that same category, and you must be useful and all of that. And then you've got others where they are like, we worship you, please be merciful to us, you deserve everything, you've been chosen by the gods. So how you're treated really does depend on where you're from, but I don't think anywhere's... I mean, maybe I'll change my mind, but for now I've not come up with any cultures that outlaw being an Ornata. No, as I said before, Solo Solitaire, the gold quantity does not dictate how powerful they are. An inch off the ground is about as much as 10 to foot. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Perfect for messengers. This guy could still be really cool. It's just that he's got to work on it and accept that he can't, like, lift a horse, you know. Those Brits and their secrets, says not a Dutch guy. Yes, I'm very secretive. Is this lore going to be turned into a book or a show, or is it... Oh my gosh, I mean, like, if I could turn it into a show, that would be great, but unless any of you guys know someone at a company that turns things into shows, I don't think that'll happen anytime soon. But definitely, maybe somewhere down the line, it'd be cool to do, like, a book, or I've written tabletop RPGs before, so maybe a tabletop RPG, but I don't want it to be anytime soon. I don't want to rush through it. This is something I could see going on for, like, you know, potentially years, depending on how I do it. I've got other stuff and things in the works. I don't know if you guys... I don't know the ratio in chat who watch my other videos versus just my Golden Bone ones, but, you know, I've always wanted to create lots of different things. And Golden Bone is just kind of my main focus at the minute. But not my only focus, so if you do want other fun design stuff, it does mean a lot when you check that out as well. I went too all in on that bit. Not a Dutch guy says, sort of off topic, but a show that does both the lack of and the advancement of medical knowledge really well as The Artful Dodger. I'll have to check it out. Mimic King says, what about a culture of Ornatas? It wouldn't really happen. Maybe there's like a small group of them who band together, but like, if you think about the world they're in, it's not like they can all... People forget nowadays about ease of communication. How would, in the age of exploration, level of technology, someone communicate with someone in South America at a moment's notice? You know, they wouldn't. And I just don't think that the level of communication and the rarity of Ornata is such that it's just not really feasible. They would all have to come together from different cultures, want to leave their life behind, and then find somewhere they can live that allows them to develop their own culture. It's like if everyone with a rare congenital condition decided to start a commune together. There would have to be enough of you, but also like in the medieval period, so you would all have to be able to communicate. So I don't think it would really occur. just because of how uncommon they are and the tech level. And also they'd have a need to. They'd have to be like, I'm gonna forego my entire culture and comfort and way of life. I do think that depending on how they're treated, some Ornata probably escape to other cultures. And once again, the quote-unquote, until I confirm the name, it's a secret for now, the legally distinct Roman Empire one of the reasons they've gotten so big is because they picked up on that. They were like, hey, we should just offer to magically take in, to juice up and magically take in, take in and magically juice up, my brain today, any Ornata in exchange for like 3 years of military service. We could get so many people. I think that's probably the closest, is their special military unit made of Ornata. They probably have a subculture. I hope you don't mind me rambling, I'm just kind of spitballing. I think depending on the culture, some Ornata are seen as holy and some are demonic of sorts. I've been thinking about this, but only because I think about ease of communication obsessively. Brilliant stuff, Hag. Also, no one would know what important figures like kings would look or sound like unless you had actually met them. Yeah, that's another big thing, like, you know, and speaking as someone who comes from a country that still has a monarchy, you know, we all know what our king or queen at any one time looks like and sounds like, but you know, once upon a time that simply wasn't the case, and then it would just be on coins or, you know, statues, which are always infamously very flattering, or like portraits of the king / queen, and obviously that's kind of where they're at in this setting. You know, most people won't know what a king looks like or anything like that. Right, I'm gonna have a quick 10, let's make it a 10-minute break, just so I can go refill my drink and flex my hands and do some desk stretches. This is a friendly reminder to any of you who've been using me as background listening, now or later, or have just been sitting hunched at your desk, to unshrimp a little bit, have a stretch your neck out, maybe touch your toes a little, and drink some water if you haven't, and I will be right back after this non-commercial break. See you in a sec. And we're back. And there is absolutely no relevant drawing material on the screen. I've not checked the chat yet, but I sure hope it's pro prawn, because I was just thinking on my break about how much I love prawns. So I'm about to check the chat, and oh boy, I sure hope there's only good things to be said about prawns / shrimps, because I love them so much. Though to be fair, we do need to unshrimp our bodies, that is true. Be shrimp in mind, not of body. Someone says, loaded up a game, thinking about law. Currently on a road trip, that's so exciting. Yeah. I do need like a motivational poster that says be shrimp of mind, not of body. And then someone shrimping at their desk. I think that'd be fun. I'm just gonna arm him up. He's gonna have a... Oh, what would be good? Like a missile. Oh, I forgot I had the reds on still. Let's give him like a... You can tell I don't draw military stuff, and also I'm running out of space. Like a bazooka. I love that for him, honestly. Or like just like a tiny Glock for each like hand. I think that could be quite funny. There we go. Let's give him a tiny Glock on each hand. He's like grasping all of these little Glocks. Now, to be fair, let's take the crab out of jail. He deserves better. He can also have a Glock. And he's got to hold it delicately between his two little crab pincers. I love that for you. There we go. They're actually best friends. I love that they were able to resolve their differences and instead take it out on the real enemy, corporate America / UK. We're not much better. Oh, they're best friends. Look at them. Shrimp and I just started blasting, says Parnax. Yeah, the pair of them are clawed and dangerous, but because they resolved their differences, he decided to turn his... They're both shooting at the same enemy. Oh, I love this beautiful story it's developing so well. Oh, look at them go. Who are they shooting at? That's the real question. The sharks, someone says. Oh god, bold of you to assume I can draw a shark without reference. It's gonna be... bad.
Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
He's like, oh man. Bamboozled again. Maybe he's doing like the Wile E. Coyote thing, you know, where they would hold up a little sign that says like help on it. Someone says, fun fact, many crabs are not true crabs because they started as lobster-shaped and evolved to resemble crabs. I didn't know that. That's very cool. Shark is... It's okay, guys. He's committed several war crimes. He has it coming. He's committed like several unforgivable war crimes. Don't feel bad for him. There's his gills. Because I was obviously going for realism. Anyway, right. They're going away now. I'm deleting them. Say goodbye. They will be immortalized on my stream and nowhere else. That was some stream exclusive content for you. Oh, my hand is really hurting at the minute. I might just kind of zoom out a little, and if anyone does have any more questions, now's probably a good time to ask them, just while I'm kind of rubbing on my hand a little. The shark has been subdued by the superior strength of shelled sea creatures, says Clam. People are sad that they're gone. I'm sorry. maybe I'll move away from drawing my nightmare fuel and we'll just draw some cute stuff for the rest of the stream. Some kind of weird little fish guy. Actually, it's turning into a snake before my eyes. It's a snake now. Or is it a turtle? I'm just mad-libbing at this point. You can tell I'm a bit tired. I should be resting my hand like I said I was just gonna, but then the spirit overcame me when someone said, are we just drawing cute stuff? And I was like, we are now. Oh, I love this. I like drawing cute things. This is the thing. I'm in the mood for drawing gothic, horrendous nightmare fuel, and sometimes I just want to draw a turtle. The duality of man. I was wondering why my mouse wasn't working, and then I remembered that I put it on like 10% to soften one of the edges. I was like, why isn't this working? It was me, it was my own fault. There it is, there's the cute nose. Look at him go. Oh, sorry, thank you for letting me indulge in that. I just wanted to draw a cute little guy. So are the majority of Onata in legally distinct HRE enchanted? I would say so, yes. You have to be 18. But I would say that the majority of them, especially those over the age of 18, yes. Well, certainly it's voluntary, so it's anyone who wants to be. Someone else what my pronouns are? I am as cis a lady as they come, despite the short hair. They are she, her. Small ironmonger, someone says. That is very true. Right. Let's put you on a different layer. And let's do a little small ironmonger. What I'm actually going to do is, because I think we've moved past the plant stage, we've gone through a good number of plants this fine evening for me. I'm gonna close that for now, and we're just gonna draw some stupid stuff for the last bit of the stream. I think that'll be fun. It'll also really confuse anyone who's like tuning in just now. So now you've seen my realistic art style. Let's see me doing my unhinged nonsense. Let's do it. He's like, look at me! Let's do more of an angle on it. There we go, and then in. I promise this will become a... someone said specifically small ironmonger. Yeah, small Bashat, yeah. Let's see if we can get that in the works. Not my best cheapy work, but it's also not my worst. I think it's because I was initially going for my scrungly thing, where I kind of do this and then do this kind of thing, and then halfway through I decided that was maybe not the energy I wanted to give the Bashat. Though it is funny. You can see I kind of started that head and then stopped. He's like, whoa, look at me! You ask and you shall receive. Small Bashat coming right up. Small ironmonger relaxes on normal hammer. Small ironmonger and previous hopeful Ornata baby would be friends. Yes, they 100% would. Grungle the bungle looking at in the corner, yeah. We need Hopeful Ornata baby back. I promise I will try and bring back Hopeful Ornata baby. I will draw him next. My favourite OC, Hopeful Ornata baby. I'm thinking maybe his metal, like, thing, chest plate is, like, over his tongue. And there's his little metal booties. Got some little bits on his belt. Some little straps. Some little gloves. Little beautiful baby boy. Someone did ask about children in Bishat culture. I think they would wear the same kinds of clothes, but obviously they wouldn't have made their own carafe. So like, I think children don't tend to wear masks as much unless like someone made it for them, but then that would be immediately replaced if they then made their own. Because it's, like I said, making your metal work, which is often a mask, but not always. It's like a coming of age thing. But I think some kids might wear them if their parents made them for them. Which means you would get like ominous children with like those masks. No, that's less their style. Ball bearing stuff is maybe more their bag. But let's get some little clasps. There you go. And he's going, look what I made just for you. My finest ironwork yet. A singular thumbtack. Look, I made it just for you. My finest ironwork. You can tell that I'm sleep deprived. It's beautiful. Good for him. Someone said ominous children. Yes, yeah, the some Bishat kids would be quite ominous. I love how I've taken like this very noble race and I've just kind of made them Ulu small bean, and you know what? I'm not mad about it. I'm actually quite pleased with that. He's gonna go down here. He's showing the turtle. I don't know what this guy's doing, but he's up here. He's like, look turtle, look what I made, and the turtle's like, I am a turtle. I do not understand. Right, you know him, you love him, he's coming back. immediately messing it up. I think Hopeful Onata Baby will be my last one for tonight, and then I'm gonna go because my hands are starting to hurt. Someone says, I imagine him being named something badass like Bjorn Thunderhammer, and he's just this whittle guy. Yeah, it would be something like Kofala, which I think Kofla is the name of someone, one of the Bishat that I drew, like Kofala, third of the Iron Swing or something like that, and it would be like him. It would be something very over the top. He's just a little guy. I love drawing little guys. I need to do a stream soon that's just us drawing little guys. I think that'd be fun. I watched one of Drawfee's streams recently, one of the ones where they drew little guys, and there's just something so therapeutic about drawing little guys. It's good for the soul. I wonder what's going through Hopeful Onata Baby's head, like what he thinks his ability might be. He's like, oh boy, I can't wait to be born. I'm gonna have so many cool abilities. Sorry, just reading the chat. Alrighty. A couple of the other they probably take longer, but like longer form videos I want to do that aren't Golden Bone related coming up as a little preview. There is some superheroes that I designed when I was a teenager, and some of them, and I don't think any of them are particularly bad, but I kind of want to grab all of them and redesign them and kind of make a superhero team. And one of them was redesigned after, if any of you have not deep dived on the disaster that was like they were called like the New Warriors or something. It was the one where Marvel tried to make a superhero, a non-binary one, and they called them Snowflake, and their older twin brother was called Safe Space, and it was meant to be, I think they called it like a post-ironic mediation on internet culture. It was so cringe, and so I made a non-binary superhero, and it kind of expanded from there. But yeah, hopefully some point in the future I'd quite like to do something with that. I want you to all support Hopeful Ornata Baby on his journey. He's hoping he gets fire powers so that he can burn it all down. And I think we should all support him. Ominous silence during that last message. Yes, well, you know, I can't confirm nor deny anything, but I just felt like ominous silence was the way to go. He gives poison ivy. Yeah, Hopeful Ornata Baby is everything I aspire to be. Yeah, we brought... Hi, Matt M. Yes, welcome back. We brought back Hopeful Ornata Baby, except I gave a little insight into what he's thinking about this time. He doesn't mind what powers he gets. It was actually a very hopeful, emotional story. He doesn't care what powers he gets as long as... Well, maybe hopefully fire powers, but as long as he can metaphorically burn down the establishment, he's not as fussed if he can't literally burn it down. That's just a happy bonus, you know. What is this woke liberal Marxism, someone says. And someone says, I'm so happy I was able to get... That's what we were going to do. We were going to make him and the little ironmonger friends. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to duplicate the ironmonger's layer. Just in case I mess it up. I'm going to go here. Because how else is little ironmonger gonna meet unborn Ornata Baby? It's gotta be in like a really bizarre dream sequence. So now he's going, whoa, look at that, it's Hopeful Ornata Baby. Hopeful Ornata Baby, what are your wise words? And then these are his wise words. Wow, what an absolutely beautiful and insane end note for this stream. Guys, you've been brilliant as always. How dare you call him a liberal, says Matt M. He's giving the thumbtack to the baby to take down the government. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Right, I'm so glad we were able to end this on such a silly note. I love it when we get goofy. And on top of getting goofy, we also, oh, here's me immediately messing up. And on top of getting just a little bit goofy, like we like to do, we also got some really nice plant stuff done, and we got to chat a little bit about the alchemy system, and you guys gave me some awesome ideas. Thank you so much to a bunch of you. Hopefully I can put all of them to good use. Not a Dutch guy says so British that she doesn't even dare say the words loud. What, take down the monarchy? Yeah, you can say that any day of the week, baby. Small ironmonger and Hopeful Ornata Baby will start the revolution. Love the drawings. Get goofy. Was it the present future tense? Thank you so much for the stream. Oh, thank you, Parnax. Thank you for watching. It's been amazing. Seizing the means of production also always puts me in a silly, goofy mood, Matt. Absolutely. Have a good one, everyone. Love you very much, and I will hopefully see all of you next time.